So we have with us Mr. Saurabh Gupta as a guest speaker today. He has over a decade of work experience in the software industry, and he's currently associated with DigitalOcean as a senior developer advocate. And DigitalOcean is the same company whose brainchild is actually Hacktoberfest. So I would not take much of his time and let him start. So you can start, sir. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So first of all, welcome guys to this session on Hacktoberfest. For next couple of, I think, minutes or maybe around an hour, I'll be sharing some details about what Hacktoberfest is all about, and also a small session on basically cloud computing. So that's a very popular term nowadays, right? Some of you must be aware of what is cloud. Some of you already might be using it, but then what all cloud is about and how does it makes our lives easy right nowadays. So that's a small session that I will try to continue. And at the end, the all purpose of this session is like we understand what Hacktoberfest is all about. Why do we do this? It's all about open source community that we want to give back. And yeah, as I said, a brief knowledge on cloud computing also. So if you have some key takeaways from this session, that would be really helpful from my side. And I think I'll have a small Q&A also. So any of you who have any doubts around Hacktoberfest or around cloud computing, you can feel free to ask me or like ping me in chat. So let me share my screen and start the first session for the day, which is around Hacktoberfest, the most popular theme for today. Okay, just give me a minute. So I guess my screen is visible to all, right?
Yes.
Cool. So let's start. So we are in 2020, not a very good year to remember, but definitely from a Hacktoberfest point of view, I think we have not yet completed October. It's like around 10 days, but then yeah, we have seen a pretty good impressive amount of Hacktoberfest participation from across the globe. And one of the key points is India tops the chart, right? So even last year, most of the participations were from India. And again, I think the trend continues. That's what we are seeing till now. So as said, DigitalOcean is the prime sponsor for Hacktoberfest event along with Intel and Dev community, right? So yeah, welcome you all and thanks for joining us. Just a small video over there to tell you about Hacktoberfest.
It's October already. It's Hacktoberfest. If you don't know what Hacktoberfest is,
it's a celebration.
It's an open source.
Hacktoberfest is a month-long celebration of open source software
Created by DigitalOcean. It's changing the world one pull request at a time. It can be a developer, designer, or even a content writer.
In short, you do open source contributions and you get lots of swag.
As swag bag. This is so amazing. A Hacktoberfest t-shirt, guys.
I would like to thank DigitalOcean for sending me this t-shirt because I was participating in Hacktoberfest.
So join us for this year's celebration of open source software, Hacktoberfest.com.
Let's get hacking.
Cool, guys. So that's about Hacktoberfest 2020. So yeah, this is me right now. I'm Saurabh Gupta. I'm a senior developer advocate with DigitalOcean and a part of the Hacktoberfest team. So just going through this session, the high-level agenda is we will have some of the key contributors of some of the main open source projects in India at least. How to contribute to open source, why to contribute to open source, and how you can volunteer to help, right? So that's the high-level agenda of this theme. So as we saw in the video, right, what is Hacktoberfest? So this is like a month-long celebration that we do in the month of October. So for 31 days, and we have a lot of partners primarily Intel and Dev, and a couple of other technology partners like GitHub. And the whole purpose of this is to contribute or to promote the open source software. The open source community is as such, right? So somewhere or the other down the line, if you are a developer, if you are a tester, or whatever profile you work into a software domain, some point of the other, you must have definitely used some kind of an open source tool, especially when the company is not willing to spend too much on the software tools or automation tools. We look for an open source solution, right? So we always kind of take from the community. Whenever we have a problem, we go to Stack Overflow and similar communities to find a solution. We go to Google and find a solution. But how do we give it back to the community? That's the main thing. Like, do we ever think of giving it back to the community? And if we think, how do we give it back, especially the big open source community? So this is a small effort which was initiated by DigitalOcean along with our partners and has been quite successful across the years. So this is like the 7th year that we are doing Hacktoberfest. And yeah, so just a quick history of Hacktoberfest. We basically started with this event in 2014, as long as 2014. That was the first event which we did. So these are like some of the pictures across the globe from 15, 16, 17, 18, I think 20 is still going on, and we do not have too many pictures from 19. But then, yeah, I was saying we started with this activity in 2014, right? And if you see the graphs at the bottom, it was just a kickoff start event, didn't have too much of active participation. And we will see those numbers changing over the years, right? So we just had 676 signups initially, approximately 500 completions, and 50,000 pull requests that were kind of submitted. So if you see at a high level, these numbers are kind of not too impressive, right? Only 600 or 700 signups, only 500 completions. But that was the starting, just to give the taste to the community. Let's see the data next year. 2015, if we see the signups, so from 600 in 2014, we moved to approximately 14,400, right? So to be precise, 419. And the number of completions, which were basically 500, they moved 10 times to 5,700. And the pull request approximately the same, 50K. So there was a massive adoption by the community and became a popular event. Everyone across the globe eagerly waiting for this event, right? October, and anyone in the technology field knows about Hacktoberfest. This is the time of the month where we get to contribute to open source communities. And yeah, definitely, if your pull requests are accepted, you do get some goodies from the organizers. So this was 2015, definitely a big leap in terms of numbers. Let's see the corresponding years. So 2016, we had approximately 29K signups, so somewhere around 30K signups with 10,000 completions, which was like double of what we had previous year, and like 20 times more than the first sign up of 500. And if you see, the numbers have been increasing ever, right? So now 75,000 signups in 2017. 2018 marks maybe a drop. That were like 5 years of Hacktoberfest, around 46,000 signups. And yeah, definitely last year, the 6th year into Hacktoberfest, and definitely numbers were pretty impressive. So more than 1 lakh signups, and then 61,000 completed requests, right? And as I said, most of these events were basically from India. So across the globe, India, followed by US and then other regions, has been dominating the technology field. And that clearly shows in Hacktoberfest event participation also, which definitely, as an Indian, makes me a lot more proud, right? That we are good in technology, that's a known thing. But then, yeah, we actively participate in these kind of activities also. So the general notion that like Indians, sometimes people do tend to think like the developers, they are not good, Indian developers are not so good in open source. So this is definitely the contrast. The number shows that no, India shows the biggest participation, not only in APAC, but across all the regions globally. So just talking about this 7th edition, we know we are in a tough situation, right, because of the pandemic and the COVID. So no live events this time. It's all virtual events like the one that we are attending right now. But I think we all have adjusted to this kind of an environment. Everything has gone virtual. So be it the office work, the work from home activities, the schooling, the same applies to Hacktoberfest also. We have also like adapted to this new flavor of the year, and all the events that are happening are all virtual events. We have started with a new initiative. So those of you who have participated in the old Hacktoberfest events, you definitely are looking, apart from contributing to the open source, also expecting some kind of goodies, right? And the goodies that you get is the Hacktoberfest DigitalOcean t-shirts, right? So they are in great demand. But as a theme for this year, we have given an option where instead of asking or requesting for a t-shirt, you can also pick up a tree, right? So basically the initiative is plant a tree. Do an open source contribution and plant a tree instead of a t-shirt, right? So pick trees, not teas. Reward option is also available, but that's more of an option thing, not to like force you, but yeah, out of willingness, if you think that you should contribute to the Mother Earth also in terms of environment, you can give away your t-shirts and yeah, choose to adopt, like pick up a tree and then plant it. Another change is like this time we have made 2 different themes for Hacktoberfest t-shirt. So till now what is happening is we have one universal flavor for Hacktoberfest t-shirts or goodies, and that's universal for across everyone. This time we have 2 flavors to opt from. So one is a dark mode, as you can see, and there is a lighter mode, right? So based on your preference, you can choose one of the t-shirts if you're going for a t-shirt option. And then yeah, robust event kit with additional resources and tools to help you organize virtual events in a much better and successful way. So those are some of the high-level changes that we have made to Hacktoberfest, this 7th edition. So yeah, this is the interesting part. Why do we need to organize Hacktoberfest, or like why do we continue, right? So just at a high level, sharing your knowledge could be one point. A particular tool or open source technology that you are very passionate about, bringing it to the notice of the outside world and making it more popular. So those are certain ways those are certain reasons that you should continue organizing Hacktoberfest events, and not only Hacktoberfest, all open source events we should support, right? So if you just look the reasons, it's like people create awesome stuff. So definitely yes, we have talented people across the globe. It's a time to show your talent. Open some good pull requests and submit them to the moderators. It's a great learning opportunity, and I think this is one of my favorite points. You get to meet a lot of people, right? So as a part of this Hacktoberfest event, again, I see like right now I have 20-25 odd people who are joining this session, but definitely a lot more participation would be there. So since we are in a virtual world right now, the collaboration might be a bit different, but yeah, when we are back to the normal world and things become in person, you get to network with a lot of people and meet a lot of people. So the learning opportunity is exponential. Welcome new community members. So definitely yes, whatever is your open source community, there are always some new joinees who are new to this community. So it's a time to welcome them and get them aboard. Grow your real world experience, introduce people to free and open source software, makes contributing not just about code, right? Create job opportunities. So that's another important emphasis, right? So through this open source contribution and Hacktoberfest participation, you can showcase your talent and skills in software development, and definitely that opens new gates for your new job opportunities also. And then yeah, a lot of people who have been contributing to open source over the last couple of months or years, it's a time for them to go to the next level and develop themselves as maintainers, right? So turn contributors into maintainers. So those were some reasons why we should continue organizing Hacktoberfest and events like these. What's new in 2020? So definitely more learning resources. So that's what we have added to the kit. September was basically a pre-tember. So basically a prep before the actual Hacktoberfest app event starts in October. All events virtual, already shared that. New initiative, pick trees, not teas. So yeah, I've already mentioned about that also, right? So you have an option where you can give away your teas or t-shirts. Do not opt for a t-shirt, but yeah, pick up a tree for that. Instead of that, and use that for planting. So at a high level, just sharing some of our awesome maintainers who have been maintaining the community within India at least. So these are different open source contributors, right? So there is something called OpenEBS. So Kiran Mova is there from OpenEBS. We have Vishal Biani from Pune. Then there is Uma Shankar. There is Pranav from Chatwood. Nambarul Paul, he is from Kubernetes Bangalore. So Kailash Nath from ListMonk, Nabith Had from ERP Next. So these are all from different companies, and they act as maintainers for different GitHub repositories, right? Open source repositories. So how to get started? Resources to help. So first thing first, make sure that you have signed up for Hacktoberfest on the hacktoberfest.com, this link, right? So you have signed up for this event. Once you have done that, there is a page that says resources page. So go to that page and read the instructions and the resources carefully. Third point, very important, review code of conduct, right? So definitely the guidelines you should keep in mind, what is accepted and what is not. And then, yeah, we are using Mattermost to help and as a tool. So join Mattermost and get more help across the community. And then you can discover the projects on the homepage. You can go to the hacktoberfest.com homepage and discover more projects, and whichever one that you find suitable and useful, you can start contributing to that. So yeah, that was just a short about Hacktoberfest, how it has been happening since 2014, how have the numbers grown, how India participation looks at a global level, what has changed in 2020, and how you can contribute more, right? So on that note, happy hacking, and yes, Hacktoberfest 2020. Yay. And as I said, this was a short intro on Hacktoberfest. Let me come back to the next session that talks a bit about cloud computing. Correct? So, sorry, I think I'm on the wrong page. Yep. I assume that most of us would have heard of cloud computing as such. Better that some of you would have used different cloud providers, but for the sake of the audience, I assume you do not have too much insights into what is cloud computing all about. So just at a high level, what is cloud computing, why it is so popular, and why the world is after it, right? So this is a brief about me. I already showed this thing on Hacktoberfest, but then yeah, just a brief. So I'm basically Saurabh Gupta, a senior developer advocate at DigitalOcean. So I come with a decade of experience into software industry, mostly working around open source projects, and last couple of years it has been mostly into cloud and DevOps technologies, especially around containers, Kubernetes, security, those kind of things. So yeah, in the past, I've worked with companies like Alton Calsoft, SolSide, which was a startup. I've worked with Flipkart in the past, and currently with DigitalOcean. Yes. So you can find me speaking at different meetups and conferences. Yeah. So as a part of developer advocate, that's my profile. I go to a lot of conferences and events, and as a speaker, I speak on these themes, right, which I mentioned, be it a container technology or Kubernetes or DevSecOps, the new term in the market. So those are my expertise areas, and yeah, I love speaking and sharing my knowledge with people. So yes, what is basically cloud computing? So I assume no one has this kind of a notion as this grandma, right? That computers can fly now. Does that mean that computers are into cloud? No, so not exactly, right? So it's not the blue sky that we see that we term as cloud computing. Why we call cloud computing is because it's not a real physical server or machine that we can see and touch. It's mostly virtual, hosted by some other cloud vendor, and he manages our infrastructure. So since all the things are virtual, it's termed as cloud computing. So not because everything has gone into cloud or the blue sky, definitely not. And why did cloud computing came into picture, right? So a common proverb, so necessity is the mother of invention. So when something is declared or required, new inventions and discoveries are made, new technologies evolve. And that is how cloud computing came into being. Basically started by mostly AWS, right? The credit goes to Amazon, who launched cloud computing services. The reason was prior to cloud computing, the typical way of working in the software industry was you have a team of developers, they develop or write a piece of code. Now, where do you run these code? So you need machines to run this code, right? These are all physical machines. So either you purchase them and put it in-house, which we call as on-prem infrastructure, or you partner or you have more money, so you have your own data centers and you put these machines there. So either enterprise level, you were having big data centers, or you were partnershiping with companies which have data centers and using them to run, sharing that hardware to run your resources, or you yourself are purchasing these hardwares and putting into your office and running them as an on-prem service. Now the problem with that is it's a hardware, right? It's a machine, it's a tool. Now if something goes wrong, who does the maintenance part? You are responsible for maintenance, one. So maintenance is an issue. Something goes wrong, you have to troubleshoot. Your team of what we call as system admins, they have to troubleshoot those things. So it was a pain point. Secondly, when you start scaling, so suppose I am a small startup, I serve like 10,000 customers a day. So I need 10 servers, right? And I purchase 10 servers, I have that budget. Now, once I start scaling 6 months down the lane, I serve from 10,000 customers a day to 50,000 customers a day. So definitely this is good for my business. I'm getting more money, but the 10 server infrastructure that I have cannot support 50,000 customers a day. I need more powerful machines. So I need to purchase more. So now you see that is a cycle. As and when you start scaling, you need to purchase and keep on adding more and new hardware and also more powerful hardware, right? Every 6 months, the hardware configuration changes. There is a new configuration launched by Intel and other people. More powerful machines come into market. So this is an ongoing expenditure. Not all companies can afford this. Especially when you are a startup, you want to focus on your product, your idea, your development process. You do not want to get into hardware details and maintaining that infrastructure, right? So those were certain key areas of pain points which triggered or led to the evolution of cloud computing, which basically follows pay as you go model. You do not have to worry about an infrastructure. You can start with one single machine or even a shared resource. You use it for 1 day, you pay for 1 day. You use it for 10 hours, you pay for 10 hours. You use it for 15 days, you just pay for 15 days. You do not have to purchase and own that particular piece of hardware. It's owned by someone else. He's leasing it out to you, right? It's renting out those hardware to you. Or when we say in a normal way, it's called virtual machines. So as we said, necessity is the mother of invention. Because of these certain pain points, cloud computing came into existence. Now, I have been into industry for like more than 10 years, right? Approximately 13 years now. And this is the kind of attitude I have seen most of the people having, especially the people who own the production, right? They sometimes tend to seem that they're like the god or the owners or the creators. So definitely they are the admin, they have production access, they can grant access to anyone, they can revoke access of anyone. But I mean, I'm sure you must have also seen these kind of attitude from some of your system admin or DevOps people, right? So they tend to feel like, I mean, typically if you say this, it's like, apuni bhagwan hai, that kind of an attitude. So this was again an issue prior to cloud computing era. So we discussed some of the pains of on-prem or DC hardwares. So yeah, if you see the maintenance, the cost, global presence, right? So that's again, if you are a big enterprise and you have customers across the globe, then how do you maintain your resources or hardware across the globe? Maintaining that or serving them from one location is a difficult task, right? How do you protect and maintain the maintenance of your hardware is again an issue. And especially with vertical, if you see this VMs, right? How do you scale when you are working on a concept like virtual machines? When you want to scale vertically, you can add more powerful machines. But when you want to scale horizontally, you need to add more machines, which definitely means more expenditure. So at a high level, we have discussed these pain points, right? Be it cost, be it troubleshooting, be it maintenance, be it global presence. So definitely a lot of issues were there on on-premise hardware or infrastructure, and that's where it led to the paths of cloud computing. So let's talk about some of the trends, challenges, and benefits which we see in the cloud computing, right? So what are some of the cloud trends in the industry? What is the cloud adoption rate? What are some of the high-level benefits of cloud? Why it is so popular? Why everyone is like running behind cloud? Definitely something useful coming out of it. So yeah, this is like a data from RightScale, scaled back as 2019, so not that old. This shows basically public cloud adoption trends. So if you see, AWS definitely dominates the market with approximately 61% of share, with followed by Microsoft Azure, not that behind. It's around 52% of the market being captured by Microsoft Azure. And if you see the boxes, right, there's a different color. So these colors mean the ones which are currently using. Then the next one means experimenting, and the third one is planning to use. So at least 61% they're already using AWS, 16% are experimenting or in an evaluation phase, and it's just 7% of the people who are not sure or plan to use AWS. So adoption is pretty high, 60% or more than 60% for AWS, more than 50% for Azure, for Google Cloud around 20%, and then followed by other clouds, right? VMware, IBM, Alibaba. So as we can see, more than 50% of the people are already onto cloud, and the ones that are pending, they are planning to, or they are into an evaluation phase. So definitely everyone is trying to adopt to cloud and get into that train. So that's another data by RightScale, which says 94% of the enterprise are already using cloud in 2019. So they did a survey, and 94% of the correspondents, they were affirmative in terms of cloud adoption in 2019. And if we see what kind of cloud adoption model they follow, so we see two balls there, right? There are two balls, and this is the overlapping area. So this is the public cloud, and this is the private cloud. So around 22% of them, they use only public cloud like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. 3%, that's a pretty low number. Maybe numbers might have changed, but yeah, this is still 2019. They said they use private cloud. But what about the majority? The majority said they use a hybrid cloud, which is around 69% or roughly around 70%, right? So 70% of the respondents, they follow a hybrid model. What is a hybrid model? Hybrid model or hybrid cloud is basically a mix of private and public cloud. So you want to take benefits of public cloud and also want to take other advantages from the private cloud. So it's more of a best of both the worlds, right? So instead of depending on a single cloud vendor, you try to get the benefits from both the sides. And that's what people are trying to adopt to. So around 70% of the respondents, they use a hybrid cloud model. And I think that that's the future that is going to be. The number is going to be increasing. And this is again an interesting survey. And last one we saw something called as hybrid cloud. Here we see a new term called as multi-cloud, right? So hybrid cloud was a mixture of private plus public cloud, but this multi-cloud means it's a mixture of basically your multiple cloud vendors, public cloud vendors. So someone like who is using AWS for production and Azure or Google Cloud for staging and other environments. So I'm trying to mix and match my all the environments across the vendors. I'm just not leaning on one single vendor, be it AWS or DigitalOcean or Google Cloud, but I'm trying to mix and match according to my needs, right? So I know that my production, what all I need is all available in a particular cloud vendor. I go with that. But for staging or for development environment, I might not need all those services. So why to spend a similar amount on that? I can go with some other cloud vendor where I can save some bucks, right? So that's where a multi-cloud strategy comes into picture. And if you see, 84% of the organizations have a multi-cloud strategy right now. This is like a 2019 report. And 84% of them already follow a multi-cloud model. And these are all enterprise level organizations with like 1,000+ employees. So definitely all the biggies, they are following a multi-cloud approach, which is definitely the way to go. So at a high level, we saw the pain points that were coming from an on-prem or a data center kind of infrastructure. What are some of the benefits that we get from cloud computing? I told you, like in terms of pricing, we have a flexible model which says pay as you go. But that's not the only benefit of cloud computing, right? So at a high level, if you see, it gives you flexibility. It's highly scalable. So if you want to scale from 10 virtual machines to 50 virtual machines, you can scale in a couple of minutes. The vendor, the cloud provider gives you that option. You can define those numbers within your parameters while scaling. And as and when the load increases, you can automatically scale up and down both. The same is not possible when you're doing an on-prem infrastructure, right? I need to purchase the hardware already. I need to already have the hardware with me. If I just need to scale in like for some particular campaign from 10 machines to next, maybe another 5 additional machines, I cannot immediately go and purchase that. So I just need to have that kind of a stock with me. I need to do all those OS installation and preparation work already. And then as and when my load increases, I'll slowly start adding more machines. So this is definitely more time consuming and more complex activity. Whereas when you are on cloud, it gives you the benefit of cloud computing, right? You can define your parameters that as and when the traffic or the load increases, I want to scale from 10 machines to 20, 20, 30. And the cloud vendor will take care of that. So that's more about scalability, higher security. When you are maintaining your own infrastructure, security is something that you have to maintain on your own. But when we are going with a cloud vendor, he is the one who needs to ensure that your boxes or your virtual machines are secure, right? So out of the box, you get a security offering from a cloud vendor. So he takes care of the security also. Cost-effective solution, we definitely saw that previously also. So this is more cost-effective, definitely, because you do not have to spend a huge chunk of money on purchasing infrastructure, maintaining, hiring a team of people like system admins to maintain that. And then, yeah, as in when you scale, you need not purchase every time a new hardware or infrastructure. And also, once you purchase these hardware, right, whether or not you use them, suppose I purchased 10 hardware or maybe 10 racks, servers, right? Now, currently, I'm just using 8 of them. 2 of them are idle. But definitely, I need to keep an eye on them and also maintain them. The maintenance would be there. It doesn't matter whether I use them or not. So there is definitely a cost incurred on all the 10 VMs. But when you are doing a cloud computing kind of a approach, as I said, it's pay per go, pay as you use model. So if I use 10 VMs, I pay for 10 VMs. I delete 2, I now have 8. I use them for the entire month. I just pay for the 8 VMs for the entire month. The 2 VMs that are deleted, they were used for a couple of hours. I just pay for a couple of hours. I do not have any maintenance issues over there. I do not have to take care of security. I can easily scale them. Another important point to remember is that out of the cloud, to get disaster recovery benefits also. So most of the cloud vendors, they give you DR benefits. So in case there is an issue, you can always move from one DC to another or across the globe and maintain your availability, right? So that definitely helps you achieving high availability. So these were the benefits that we saw in the picture. Let's have a look. What are some of the key benefits of cloud? Management effort reduced. So definitely yes. Management effort reduced, both in terms of managing manpower, because now you need lesser people. There's a cloud vendor who is doing the job for you. So you do not need so many people to maintain your machines. And also reduction in terms of monetary benefits. You did not spend that much when what you were doing while maintaining your own infrastructure. Ease of use. So definitely yes, out of the box, everything is taken care by the cloud provider. You just need to get the right settings, choose what kind of machines you want, what kind of services you want. They are mostly available out of the box. You can start consuming those services. Fault resilient. So we saw that DR thing, right? So that's what translates into fault resilient. In case there is an issue, the VM virtual machine goes down. You have defined a high availability and auto scaling kind of things. So definitely once the machine goes down, there will be a new server that will automatically come up with the same configuration. And things will settle on this new healthy server. So automatic health checks, automatic resilient, That is all a feature of cloud computing. Highly scalable. So you want to move during peak loads from X to 2X machines, you can do that immediately. And then when the load subsides, you again want to downscale from 2X to X. So both ways, right? It works during like upscale as well as downscaling. And that's a regular feature available out of the box from most of the cloud vendors. And reduce cost. So definitely spoke about that aspect multiple times. Because of the pay as you use model, you save a lot on the cost side. Services options. So yes, since you are going with a cloud provider out of the box, they give you multiple services which you can directly start consuming. I want to have a machine with a particular configuration and I want to set up a CI/CD pipeline on top of that. I want to use some deployment tool on that. I want to use a container technology or Kubernetes kind of a setup. So all those services are available as a service from the cloud vendors, right? So I can just have my virtual machine and then I can start consuming these services. So you have more service options when you're going with a cloud provider. At a high level, what are the cloud computing features? So as I said, you definitely need virtual machines or some kind of a infrastructure to run. So when I'm doing on-prem, it's my own physical hardware that I can see and maintain on my own. In this case, it's being maintained by someone else. So it's basically called virtual machines. Nothing, I mean, it's the same thing like a server, but virtual server. In case we are trying to follow a container technology, right? Something like Docker. So container as a service, which is a new term in the market. Most of the cloud providers, they give you container as a service out of the box. Database as a service. So suppose I'm a small startup, I do not have DBAs to maintain and manage my database. What do? I depend on my cloud vendor and partner with him. And most of the cloud vendors, they give you database as a service. So most of the popular databases, they are available from these vendors. So whether you want to use a SQL or a NoSQL option, everything should be available from your cloud vendor. You get powerful networking options, right? So you get load balancers, you get firewalls, you get VPC options. Those kind of things are available from the cloud vendor, cloud provider. And then, yeah, definitely storage. So you have both the options in terms of block storage and object storage, right? So object storage is nothing but your cloud storage. And block storage is an additional storage that you can add to your virtual machine and scale the storage part. So all those services are available as a part of cloud computing. So these are the features from a cloud provider. What can be fixed? So in case of troubleshooting or in case of an issue, what are the options or what are the services available and how they can be fixed, right? So if you see provisioning part, provisioning your machines or servers, they are available as a service and taken care of by the cloud vendor. All the upgrades, security patches, those are again taken care by the vendor. So you just spin up a machine and there is an upgrade on a new version. Either you can enable an auto upgrade, it will be upgraded automatically, or you will be sent a notification that there is a new upgrade available. Do you want to do it on now or later? And then, yeah, based on your convenience, you can always upgrade your machines. Fine tuning of the machines. So definitely, yes, the cloud providers, they give you an option to tune your machines. Disaster recovery planning. So yes, there are options that are available with the cloud vendor. You can use that to plan your disaster recovery. Broken integrations, broken customizations, those can be fixed. Security vulnerabilities. So as I said in a previous slide, that there are security options that are provided by the cloud providers, right? Cloud vendors. So all your security vulnerabilities are also taken care of. Performance issues, they are all fixed by the cloud vendors. Reliability issues are gone. And definitely once you have a high uptime, always up and running production, right? Your end customers will be happy. So unhappy customers, they are all gone. These can be fixed. So all these mentioned points can be fixed while using a cloud computing kind of a option. How cloud computing has changed businesses at a high level. So yes, at an organization level, what do we achieve? We achieve better productivity and innovation, right? The team is now much more focused. Instead of focusing their efforts and time on maintaining the infrastructure, they put those time and effort into development and coding. So better productivity and better innovation. At operations level, we see more efficiency, right? Now the operation team is not responsible for maintaining their hardware. They just have to configure the cloud computing setup and have some kind of a monitoring or alert mechanism on top of it. And then you need few people just to monitor that. In case there is an issue, you can always fix that working out with your cloud vendor. So your operations becomes much more smooth and the efficiency is increased. At infrastructure level, we definitely reduce cost, right? We do not need physical machines. So there is definitely a cost saving over there. If we do not want our machines to run 24/7 or 24/7 into 30 days or whatever time period, we do not have to pay for all that. We just pay for whatever time the machines have been up and running, be it couple of minutes to couple of hours. So there again, you save a lot on your infrastructure. Now, next we talk about business impact. So basically, we leverage the cloud, we achieve automation, and we can expand our user base, right? So more happy and satisfied end customers ultimately from a business perspective. You get more business and you make your customers happy by adopting to a cloud solution. So this is again a cloud market data that shows you the adoption in terms of numbers and revenues, right? The market in billions. So 2010, if you see, and now we are talking about 2020. So 2010, it was approximately something around 24.63 billions, right, USD, which has increased to 156 billion USD by 2020. And this is definitely going to increase in the next upcoming years because we saw the trend. More and more people adopting cloud. They are trying to get into cloud. So most of them, they are already following the cloud models, right? The hybrid cloud model or a multi-cloud model. The people who are still left behind, they are into exploratory phase. They are trying to get onto cloud as soon as possible. So definitely we will see a jump in these numbers going forward 2021 to 2025. So finally, yes, it's time for a change. If you're still following the old legacy hardware, on-prem hardware or DC data center hardware, right? It's time to make a change and make a leap to the next future technology, which is nothing else but cloud computing. And with that note, I'll say thanks to all of you for being a lovely audience. That's if you want to connect with me, those are my credentials, right? You have my email ID as gupta@digitalocean.com, and I'm also available at Twitter by the handle of DevOps follower, so you can follow me there. And I'm kind of available to take any queries or doubts that you have. Just open for queries and questions, right? Any doubts, any queries? I mean, in case you have a query, you can unmute yourself and speak, or you can put it across into a chat window. But yeah, in case we do not have a query and we are all good to go, I'll wish you all the best for the Hacktoberfest event, and yeah, do well. And as I said, we have different initiatives this year. So be wiseful when making a choice, whether you want to go for a t-shirt when you have made your submissions or you want to plant a tree in your name. Okay, I see a query by Samarth. Can you please suggest some resources to learn? Samarth, I mean, see, you have tons of resources available. The best way is Google it on a particular technology that you want to learn. The way I do it is I know a couple of places like Udemy. I find some courses over there, or even the best one is even don't go for Udemy, go to YouTube. You will get tons of videos, right? Tons of videos available on cloud computing or whatever technology that you want to learn. Listen to a couple of those people, and the one that suits your taste. There are a lot of Indian as well as foreign people with videos, right? So in case you can understand his context, his way of speaking, the way he delivers his content, and if you really like him, then follow that person and yeah, go through his videos. That's what I do, because there are a lot of people who give you a same topic. They speak about the same topic, but the way they deliver makes a change. Sometimes I might not be able to understand this particular guy's accent. It could be an issue. Sometimes his content, It's not that in-depth. So based on what you prefer, what is your preference level, I think you can go to YouTube videos. You have tons of other places to go. Each cloud provider, be it AWS or DigitalOcean or Microsoft Azure, they have their own documentation for their clouds, right? So in case you are very specific about a particular cloud, you can go to that cloud vendor and you can use those documentation to learn. So there's no dearth of learning opportunities. I think same question repeated by Sharif. If anyone want to learn cloud computing, how can anyone learn? So as I said, right, and I think most of the cloud providers, they also give you some free tier, some free credits. So even with DigitalOcean, you have some free credits. So try using those credits. Once you have some learning knowledge, jump into a practical implementation. They make a base sample code, try to run that into a cloud. Could be as simple as application as a hello world, right? Hello Java, hello world kind of an application. Make a server, spin up a server on a cloud, try to deploy that application or code into cloud, and then see how does it work. So could be a simple starting point. Thank you, Shumendra. The whole intention was to share a brief about Hacktoberfest, why we are doing these kind of activities, what is the history of Hacktoberfest, how DigitalOcean has been instrumental in this activity, along with our partners in driving or getting back to our community, right, the open source community. And yeah, this session was more focused on cloud computing. Didn't want to dive too much in depth. Wanted to keep more generic because I'm not too sure in terms of nature of the audience, whether we have people who are like intermediate knowledge or they are at a beginner level with cloud. So I think in case you have some good takeaways from this session, that's my whole intent, nothing else. And yeah, in case you have anything else, as I shared my email and my Twitter handle, feel free to get in touch with me. On that note, thanks a lot. All the best to you. Happy hacking. Happy Hacktoberfest.
Thank you, Saurabh sir. This was a great session, and we hope everyone had something to learn from this. We are very grateful to you for coming and letting us gain some knowledge from you and your years of work in the software industry. We wholeheartedly thank you for this, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.